Welcome back, everybody. OK Fixer here. Welcome back to my garage. Wanted to go over two new cars that I purchased last year. This one I purchased for $150, and it had an engine in it. This is a 1970, and the engine that was in it was a B-case engine. So it had the original engine and it had a title, and that's why I got this car. It was cheap, it had a title, and the engine was in it. Now the tweakers had stripped everything from it. I mean, they took the glove box hinges. I mean, they took everything. So I had to crunch around and look for and find all the bits and bobs, and I know some people who know some people and that kind of thing, and I ended up for about $700 getting everything I needed pretty much to complete the car, as far as you know, all the instruments and the electrical stuff and all that stuff. But you know, of course, I'm going to need gaskets and rubber, and this is gonna end up a $4,000 car. I'll end up having $4,000 into it. But you know, what will it be worth when I get done? 5. I don't know. No. So anyways, I wanted to tell you the backstory on this, and I've got some videos, some old videos, and so I'll present them to you. Telephone, of course. Hold on. All right, I'm back. The car had a fire, and it had a fire because it had a right here screwed in front was a electric fuel pump going into the line there, and evidently when it caught fire, I don't know if they left the key on or what, but it burnt in the back here. It had to have burnt really hot, and what they've done is they probably left the key on, and that fuel pump fed the entire tank of fuel to this fire, or what was left to this fire, before they got it put out. So it got hot, and it got so hot that I'll show you. The carburetor melted into the intake. There's bits of carburetor that were stuffed up in the intake, but this is a different intake. This is a different engine completely, save for the guts. The crank, the cam, the internals are from that original B-case engine. This is a B-case engine. However, and beggars can't be choosers. I got this case from a friend with better rods than I had. Really nice looking rods, actually. And the case for $140. And the case had been punched out 2020. So 20 on the size, and then they cut the thrust 20, so you got a little bit bigger bearing, so it sits back in there. Anyways, it was stamped on there. No. It was stamped 20, and it was also stamped 40. So when I measured it, when I put it together, it was 40 and 40. So I bought a 40-40 set of bearings for it, and it fit perfectly, and put it together, and I'll show you it spinning over and whatnot, what I did to it. So it got so hot that these bolts here released. They released. It warped the case, and they released. Well, when I took it apart, of course, the bolts just spun. So I put new threads in there, some thread certs. And then, of course, when I cranked the case down to seal it all up, the engine would turn until you tightened up the bolts, and then it wouldn't turn anymore. And it's the reason why I had such a hard time trying to start this thing. It would turn over so slowly because the case was pinching it so bad because it was warped. I made the engine run. I made that engine run, but as far as a usable engine again, it's done. It's toast. I kept it just for the studs and the pieces in it. And when I get done with it, maybe we'll have a big bonfire or something. I don't know. But anyways, this had caught fire, so much so that it just ate everything out of the back. I mean, it got everything really hot, and it just cooked all the paint off of it. And then it sat outside, and then it just rusted really, really bad. So I need a complete package tray in the back here. Other than that, it's really not too bad. It's got the blown out parts like this. It looks really bad here, this and the other side, but the heater channels are intact. They really are. They're not too bad. They're really not too bad. They're salvageable. And so what I did is I bought sections. I don't know if you can see them over there. Yeah, you can't. Essentially, they're the lower portions of the running board, or the heater channel, and they are the parts that bolt or that weld here for the running board. So I'll be able to work this all out. I'll have to do a lot of stitching and a lot of welding, you know, but I had to do a lot on the red one, and this one really isn't as bad, aside for the package tray, and that's pretty easy because that'll come out all as in one piece, and we'll replace that all as one piece. I've got an idea on that too, and that can come up later if I get what I'm looking for. But I bought this one with the idea that, well, 150 bucks, that's not too bad. The other one I bought it to fix this body, and it's hard to walk away from a car with matching numbers, a title, and an engine. And that's exactly where we're going with this other one. So that's this 1970 car, and I'll show you some bits and bobs that I have for it in just a second. So welcome to my giant mess of a porch. I have a set of front seats, and then I have a set of front seat tops that have different, I don't know which go on there, the wide ones or the thin ones, and he gave me both, which was a deal. And then I've got all kinds of stuff in a box there, the water bottle, the hood latch, all that stuff, and little pieces like a rear view mirror and a speedometer and vent glasses and all that. And I've got quite a bit. I got quite a bit of stuff for it. I've got a nice hood. Reworked the pedal set. Let's see. I'm tripping over all this crap. I've got the rain catcher that goes in the deck lid. I've got the air cleaner. There's the air cleaners off the other ones also. Some tin work, some heater boxes, and shifter and jack and stuff. And I've got quite a bit of parts for this, enough to get me started on it. That's for certain. But then I have wide back and I have narrow. Again, headlight rings and a radio and the plenums and everything that's missing, the turn signals and stuff. There's a couple other boxes, and I have the glass also. I have all the glass for it. Just every little piece you can imagine. And I went back into his stash, and he let me pick all the stuff. And this guy's name is Brian Wilson. He's on the Samba, but he's down in Lexington, Oklahoma. And no relation to Wilson's Salvage, although he's not saying so. Yeah, I don't know. Here's the intake, and I don't know if you can see that down there, but the carburetor literally melted. It literally melted, and it filled the intake up, and it's solid. You can't get it out. I just kept that just because I've never seen anything like that. There's the doors that came off of it, but I have better doors, and I have a deck lid, an engine lid from a 73. The doors are the same. The deck lid is slightly different. I don't know if I'm going to use that deck lid or not, because that's 1 year only. Train. So I don't know, but I have some better parts for it. In the back, I have fenders and bumpers. You can see them, but they all need to be worked. But what kind of shape are they in? Yeah, they're going to need some welding and some working and stuff. But here's the deal: is those are original German fenders, and finding stuff like that's pretty hard. So I don't know about the bumpers. I might live with them for a while until I can get rich and wealthy and afford some new bumpers. But that's that car. That's that 1970, and I will show you all the video I have of that, and it will culminate with the engine that I put together for it, starting and running. Well, I did a little bit more work on it. I went through the, as there wasn't anything left of the floor there, I went through the starter because it's got a little bit more torque on it, and I put some secret sauce in the cylinders. My secret sauce is used transmission fluid in kerosene or diesel, and I bumped it a bunch of times, and I could watch the front pulley just slightly move, but move more than like the slop in the crank, if that makes a sense. And so I seen it move about 1/4 of an inch. So I stopped and I put a bar on that nut right there, and then rocked it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I think I probably have a stuck valve because I got to the top and it wouldn't go any farther, and I kind of bumped it real gentle like, and it kind of pushed the valve back in place. Drained about 1 gallon of water out of it. Its saving grace was it had a full 3 quarts of oil in it, or 5 pints of oil in it. And of course oil floats, so all the business was in oil actually, which probably saved or made. That's why those heads look so nice, and the cylinders actually turned it all the way over. So and then I put some power to it again, and cranked it over. So I bypassed this oil filter thing that they had going on, and screwed a sending unit in and plugged my meter into it and cranked it, and filled it up with oil, and filled it up with used oil, of course. And then it got oil pressure. It held oil pressure, it made oil pressure. So I took all the tin work and stuff off. I should have done this to begin with. I should have used the acetylene hacksaw on the bolts going to the, should have heated them up, but I didn't. I snapped them off. Damn it. Oh, that pissed me off. Anyways, okay, so I'll have to drill those and get them out. But all the rest of them I heated up with the torch, and they came off. So that's all good. And I was able to clean out all the, I'm still going to blast it really good with a power washer once I get an intake on it. The intake's toast, so I'm going to have to, I've got another intake for it. So I have another intake for it. It's not the greatest, but yeah, I mean, it'll work for just to get it running right now. And I have a fan shroud and a generator. I'll redo the wiring loom back here to the engine. I've got a key coming for the ignition, because the ignition and the door locks, the door handles are the same. Pull off a door handle, a key, so I can get a key. And then that's coming from Mark 1 Service. And essentially what I want to do is I want to get a couple of good heat cycles on this, because when you put the heat to it, it burns off all the water and kind of moves things. Things start moving a little bit, so I'll be able to get the cylinders off and whatnot like that when I go to rebuild this. If I can make it run first, it'll come apart a lot easier than if you just pull it apart right now. So that's where I am. There you go. Contact. Well, it rolls and the wheels are free. There's a reservoir there, and if you look at this master cylinder, see how shiny those, yeah, well, I need to get some fluid in that. The rear line is broken, so I'll probably pull that off there, pinch it over, weld it, and then because I need to get some fluid in there and make that master cylinder work. It's still good. But my pedal set is seized up, so that's probably be next, just so I can drive it around and it'll have some kind of brakes. And here's what killed it. Whenever there's an engine fire, look for one of these. I don't understand, people. I never will. I don't know, man. I just don't understand it. What we got going down there? A hornet's nest? Oh, that's nice. Yeah, what a mess. But you gotta start somewhere, you know. So far, so good. Whoops. Put that one back in there. Didn't have my head on. Coming right along.
Contact. Sometimes you just get lucky.
This is the second 1970 I bought. This one I paid $500 for. Again, it came with an engine, but it was on a stand for, it looked like to power something with a belt because it had a pulley on the end of it. The weirdest thing you ever seen in your life. I'll show it to you in a little bit. So it did come with an engine. It was not an H or a B case engine. It was an H5 engine. Beggars can't be choosers. What are you going to do? I bought this car to use the body on this car for the white one. And it didn't show up very well in pictures. Bought it kind of just from sight unseen, went down and got it, seen how roached out it was. But here's the deal. This car is train. This car is numbers matching, just like the white car. This car came with a title, and this car came with an engine. And so titles are impossible to get here. And to come with a title, I just can't cut it all up. So both of these cars would never realistically be fixed. Never. They'd just be parted out. It doesn't look too bad until you get into it, but it's pretty bad. It's not like it's ate up completely, but could be worse. It's relatively straight. It took a little tap on this side. You can see where they hammered it out. Well, the thing is everything is there. It's all boogered up, but everything is there. So I can use this as a template on how to put the other one together. I can use it for a reference. But everything is there. Boogered all up, but it's all there. So, there you go. Take some pictures of it inside, I guess. You already seen it inside. Like I said, everything's there, but okay. That's the second 1970. Let me show you this piece that was on that engine. It's interesting. So here's the piece that was on the back of that engine. And it's obviously a belt pulley. No flywheel, no clutch. This. And it's got an O-ring in it. You can tell it was made for a Volkswagen. It's got 4. And the gland nut that was on there, I had to heat it cherry red. I mean cherry red, and before I could get it to snap loose. Before I get it broke loose. Yep, it was something. It was on this engine here, and I haven't made it up to a transmission so I can start it. And this engine is a B case. It's a B5, so 68, 69, and it looks deceiving. It's got a 67 generator on it. It looks deceiving because you pop the valve covers off and the heads are really clean underneath. And the oil was clean in it. And it's got like 100 and something pounds of compression, like 110 or 20 pounds, I can't remember, of compression. And it had a new 009 distributor in it. And but the thing is the distributor, it was outside in the rain, so the distributor was all seized up. And you pop the cap off, and the cap was like new. It was all faded in the sun from outside. And you turned it around, and it hadn't even fired. It had new spark plugs in it. Of course, the wires were all ate off of it and stuff. The saving grace of this is there was a carburetor on it, and somebody had put an old 40-horse air cleaner on it, and it didn't get any water in it, and it turns. It still turned. So I'll show you this one running. After I post all these so you can see them, the last one will be of this one running. And this is going to be for that green, well, it's yellow, but underneath it's green, 1970. Although it's the wrong engine, it'll work. So, all right. Well, thanks for looking again. See y'all later. Bye. This is the award I won at that lowrider show that I showed my 67 in the last little snippet there. All right. Well, I'll catch you next time. See you guys later. Thanks for looking.